15. Sudden car crash. During stream, Ginity in Los Angeles, 2024. Ginity, a popular IRL streamer known for her travel content, had just begun a relaxing walk through the streets of Los Angeles. It was a sunny afternoon in 2024, and her viewers were tuning in for what seemed like a normal, carefree broadcast. She chatted with her audience, occasionally waving at strangers or commenting on the city's energy. Then, without warning, things took a terrifying turn. As she was walking near a busy intersection, a loud screech pierced through the background, tires skidding fast. Before she even had a chance to look, a car sped across the screen behind her, crashing hard into a traffic light pole. The sudden crash caused a jolt in the stream. Her phone trembled in her grip. The sound was so sharp, even her viewers flinched. Ginity froze mid-sentence. Her eyes widened, and she turned around slowly to take in what had just happened. Smoke began rising from the damaged vehicle. People nearby started running in panic. One of the passengers stumbled out, clearly shaken. Ginity stayed at a distance, unsure whether to step closer or keep filming. She could be heard saying, "Oh my gosh, I don't think I should be near this." The chat exploded with messages, some concerned, some urging her to stay back. Others begged her to stop filming altogether. It was clear that no one expected something so real, so sudden. But Ginity handled the moment carefully. She kept a safe distance, lowered the camera, and asked someone nearby if emergency services had been called. She didn't focus on the victims, didn't zoom in, and didn't try to make the moment into a spectacle. This stream became one of her most discussed broadcasts of 2024, not for drama, but for how real life can turn chaotic in just a blink. The crash wasn't staged or dramatized. It wasn't a prank or a setup. It was real, raw, and completely unexpected. The viewers were reminded that when streamers go live in the real world, they're stepping into the unpredictable. The moment also sparked conversations about IRL streaming and safety. Many streamers walk in urban areas daily, but few think about how quickly something dangerous can unfold around them. For Ginity, the experience was a chilling reminder that even a peaceful stream can turn unsettling. No warning, no build-up, just a sudden jolt that nobody saw coming. 14. Unexpected power surge. Crispy Mate's lightning jolt. 2024. Crispy Mate, a rising name in the live streaming world, was out in his backyard doing what seemed like a simple DIY stream. It was mid-2024, and his audience had tuned in to watch him test a new battery-powered lighting setup for future night streams. The air looked calm, and there wasn't a single cloud that seemed out of place. That's why what happened next left both him and his viewers stunned. As he adjusted his lights and spoke casually to chat, something strange happened. The sound of distant thunder rolled through his mic, faint but definitely there. "That's weird," he said, glancing up at the sky. "It's totally clear." He brushed it off as background noise, maybe something from a neighbor's house, but a few moments later, the situation shifted sharply. Out of nowhere, a blinding flash lit up his entire frame. A loud cracking sound, sharper than thunder, filled the audio. The stream stuttered for a second, then recovered. Crispy Mate jumped back, shouting instinctively. Sparks flew from one of the light rigs behind him. It wasn't a full lightning strike, but rather a nearby power surge, most likely triggered by lightning hitting something just beyond his property. The flash had been so strong that the camera's exposure had blown out completely for several seconds. Even viewers said their screens went white from the sudden brightness. While Crispy Mate avoided injury, the incident served as a real warning. Tech gear, open spaces, and unpredictable weather don't always mix well. The most chilling part, it was all live. No edits, no filters. Viewers saw every bit of that danger unfold in real time. The clean sky and calm start only made the moment feel more surprising. What felt like a simple, cozy DIY stream turned into something straight out of a safety video. Crispymate ended the stream shortly after, deciding not to take any more chances. It's one of those rare live stream moments where nature reminds everyone, streamer and viewer alike, that real life doesn't pause for content. 13. Trespassing gone wrong. Joey Kautik in Fukushima, 2023. Joey Kautik is no stranger to risky content. Known for his urban exploration streams, he's built a reputation around venturing into abandoned places around the world. But in 2023, during a stream in Fukushima, Japan, things took a turn that neither he nor his viewers were ready for. The area he explored had long been marked as off-limits. Following the 2011 nuclear disaster, parts of Fukushima remain uninhabited, fenced off, and heavily monitored. Despite the warnings, Joey pushed forward with his usual bold attitude. With a camera strapped to his chest and chat cheering him on, he made his way past a broken barrier and into the overgrown streets of a ghost town. At first the stream was quiet, just the sound of wind, birds and Joey narrating what he saw. Empty houses, overturned cars, vending machines covered in moss. It was eerie, no doubt, but also peaceful, until it wasn't. Roughly 30 minutes in, Joey entered what looked like a small clinic. That's when the signal began to flicker, likely from interference in the area. He joked about it, but the viewers could hear the shift in his tone. Then, an alert popped up from a security system inside the building. It was in Japanese, but the audio was clear. An automated warning was being triggered. Suddenly, a voice could be heard, human this time, not a recording. Someone shouted from outside. Joey panicked. He quickly turned off his flashlight, lowered his voice, and told chat, "I think someone's here." Not even kidding. He moved toward the back exit of the clinic, but the stream was already glitching. Footsteps echoed behind him. The chat raced with messages. "Get out! Dude, you're in danger. You need to leave now." The stream didn't cut off completely, but for a few seconds it was nearly unwatchable. When the signal returned, Joey was sprinting. He had dropped his selfie stick and was holding the camera by hand. Breathing heavy, he didn't stop until he reached the original barrier. Once outside, he sat down and ended the stream, saying, "I messed up. That was too far." That clip quickly spread online, becoming one of his most watched replays. It wasn't the haunting setting or strange signal issues that left the strongest impression. It was the real fear in his voice. In a genre built on tension, this one crossed the line from thrill to actual danger. 12. Fan attack. During outdoor IRL stream, France, 2023. In 2023, an IRL streamer who typically focused on street interviews and cultural walkthroughs was broadcasting live from a quiet town centre. The day started smoothly. He greeted strangers, chatted with shopkeepers, and even stopped to enjoy a croissant from a local cafe. But things shifted when he noticed someone following him for several blocks. At first, he didn't say much about it. The person kept a distance, just enough not to raise serious alarm. Still, some viewers picked up on it and began sending messages like, "Who's that guy behind you?" and "This feels off." The streamer glanced over his shoulder a few times but stayed focused on talking to chat. He even joked, "Maybe it's just another fan trying to say hi." But minutes later, while walking near a public park, things escalated. The person who had been following suddenly rushed up from behind, yelling something unclear and swinging their arms. The camera shook violently. A loud scuffle could be heard. The stream didn't cut, but the image turned chaotic as the device was knocked sideways onto the pavement. Viewers watched in confusion and fear. The streamer could be heard yelling, trying to calm the individual down. A few good Samaritans stepped in to help. One person shouted for the stranger to back off, while another called for assistance. Thankfully, the incident ended without serious harm, and police arrived a few minutes later. The streamer later explained that the person had recognized him from a previous event and had become obsessed. While the encounter didn't lead to long-term injuries, it deeply unsettled both him and his community. The stream that was supposed to be a relaxing walk through a small French town became a lesson in personal safety and awareness. This moment sparked discussions across the IRL streaming community. It reminded creators and viewers that while many fans are kind and supportive, there are rare moments when boundaries get crossed in dangerous ways. Outdoor streamers especially face challenges because once you're live, anything around you becomes part of the broadcast. You can't always control who shows up or how they act. Since the incident, that streamer has taken steps to protect himself. He now shares less about his location in real time and avoids solo streams in quieter areas. It's a tough balance between staying open to viewers and staying safe from those who take things too far. 11. Stalker recognition. Tokyo stream gone wrong. 2024. Tokyo is often seen as one of the safest cities in the world. That's part of what makes this incident from early 2024 so chilling. A popular streamer, known for her calm and friendly IRL content, had been walking through a busy shopping district in Shibuya. The stream began like any other: colourful signs, bustling crowds, and casual conversation with viewers. But buried in the crowd was someone she hadn't seen in months. Roughly 20 minutes into the stream, she paused at a vending machine to grab a drink. That's when her tone changed. Her smile faded just slightly, and she glanced to the side. She didn't say it out loud right away, but long-time viewers noticed something was wrong. "That guy's been behind you for a while," one viewer typed. Another added, "Didn't he show up in a past stream?" The camera didn't focus on the person directly, but his figure was caught in reflections and brief angles. Eventually, the streamer admitted she recognized him. Months earlier, he had followed her for hours during a night stream. Police had been contacted at the time, but the man disappeared before they arrived. Now, seeing him again in broad daylight, and in a completely different part of the city, brought a wave of unease. She tried to keep moving, she changed streets, she even stepped into a small bookstore to see if he'd go away. But he stayed just out of frame, never approaching, just watching. It wasn't loud, it wasn't fast. That's what made it worse. It was slow, eerie, and deliberate. The chat urged her to end the stream and head to a safe space. Some viewers even pinged local help numbers in the chat. Finally, she slipped into a nearby cafe and whispered to staff that she needed help. They allowed her to stay in a back room while someone called for assistance. The man remained outside for a few minutes before walking away. The stream ended shortly after. She later posted a message to her followers explaining the situation and thanked those who stayed calm and helped her think clearly. This wasn't the first time a streamer had dealt with stalker behavior, but the way it played out live, in real time, made it unforgettable. It was a quiet reminder that not all scary stream moments involve loud chaos. Sometimes the scariest ones are the slow-building ones, when someone from the past comes back and you're not sure why. 10. Knife incident in São Paulo, Luna Abraão's attack, 2024. In early 2024, Luna Abraão, a Brazilian streamer best known for her upbeat city tours and restaurant reviews, was doing an evening stream in downtown São Paulo. Her goal that night was simple: showcase some of the city's vibrant night markets and try local snacks. With her cheerful energy and positive attitude, Luna had built a strong connection with her viewers. But this night would rattle that connection in a way no one expected. The stream was going smoothly. Luna had just finished reviewing a food stall and was making her way toward a street performer when a sudden figure rushed into view. There was no warning, no raised voice, just a sharp movement from the edge of the camera frame. Luna gasped, stepping back quickly, her camera tilting wildly. She dropped her food, her voice shaking as she asked the person to leave her alone. Viewers couldn't see everything clearly at first, but the tone shifted instantly. Luna's voice, usually confident and playful, had turned tense. She kept saying, "Please, I don't want any trouble," while backing away. The person didn't speak much, but something in his hand caught the reflection of streetlight, what appeared to be a sharp object. A group of nearby pedestrians noticed the commotion and began yelling, which caused the individual to turn and walk off quickly. Luna ran to a nearby vendor's booth and hid behind one of the counters. The vendor, realizing what had just happened, called for security. The entire moment, from shock to escape, played out live for thousands of stunned viewers. What made the situation even more unsettling was how quickly it happened. The person didn't shout or demand anything. They approached silently, with something in their hand, and it could have gone much worse if not for the people nearby reacting fast. Luna ended the stream from behind the vendor's stall, her hands visibly shaking as she thanked everyone in chat for staying calm and alert. The clip spread across social media quickly, with fans praising her quick thinking and the actions of the bystanders who stepped in. While no one was physically harmed, the emotional weight of the moment stayed with many who watched it live. Luna later spoke about the importance of being aware while streaming, especially in crowded areas. Her story became a wake-up call for other IRL creators, proving that even a light-hearted food review stream can be interrupted by something far more serious in an instant. 9. Explosive trash stream stunt. VJ Link's dangerous prank, 2022. VJ Link, a Russian streamer known for unpredictable and wild trash streams, had already made a name for himself by pushing boundaries, but in 2022, one of his stunts crossed a line that left viewers disturbed, not entertained. What started as a prank meant to shock quickly spiraled into something far more dangerous. On that day, VJ Link was live from a cluttered backyard setup filled with props and odd materials. He told his viewers to prepare for something wild. His tone was jokey, but the atmosphere felt unstable. Scattered around were old electronics, containers, and what appeared to be fireworks or small explosive devices. While many assumed this was just more of his typical chaotic energy, things soon got out of control. Midway through the stream, VJ Link placed one of the items into a metal barrel. He laughed while reading comments daring him to light it up. Without much hesitation, he did just that. A flash followed. What viewers saw next made the chat explode with panic. A loud blast filled the screen, shaking the camera. Sparks flew in all directions, and the stream's audio cracked from the sheer force. VJ Link stumbled backward, coughing and shielding his face. The explosion had been much stronger than expected. Debris hit nearby objects and smoke filled the frame. His casual prank had turned into a serious moment. For a few seconds there was silence, no talking, no movement, just the sound of ringing and viewers typing, "Are you okay?" over and over. VJ Link eventually got back up, his shirt torn and visibly stunned. "That was not supposed to happen," he said, still catching his breath. He ended the stream soon after, clearly shaken. The footage was quickly shared online, and not just among fans. Safety experts and other streamers criticized the event, calling it reckless and harmful. Many platforms began to place stricter rules around live prank content because of this very moment. This stream is often brought up as a clear example of what happens when shock value overrides judgment. While no one was seriously injured that day, the risk was real. The blast could have caused permanent harm. What was meant to be funny ended up being a reminder of how live streams, when mixed with fire, pressure, or unstable materials, can become frightening without a moment's notice. It also showed how unpredictable the line between content and consequence really is. Once you're live, there are no redos, only real-time reactions and lasting outcomes. 8. Disturbing IRL threat. Piegu harassed by follower, 2023. In mid-2023, Piegu, a streamer popular for his calm walking tours and laid-back personality, was live from a quiet shopping district in South Korea. His streams were known for their casual pace, friendly encounters, and scenic city visuals, but one particular broadcast became anything but peaceful. That day, Piegu was showing his audience a string of boutique stores and chatting lightly about his lunch plans. As he approached a small alleyway filled with food stalls, something odd caught his attention. A man had appeared a few feet behind him, close, but not enough to immediately raise concern. At first, Piegu didn't say much, but just minutes later, the same man showed up again, this time on the opposite side of the street. The chat noticed. "Didn't that guy walk by before?" one viewer asked. "He's circling," another wrote. Piegu glanced over his shoulder and gave a nervous laugh. "Maybe he's just taking a walk too," he said, trying to keep the mood light. But tension was clearly building. Over the next several blocks, the man continued showing up, each time slightly closer. Eventually, Piegu stopped to buy a drink at a convenience store. When he exited, the man was waiting just outside. This time he spoke. The stream didn't pick up every word, but Pigu's reaction said everything. His face dropped. He stepped back and muttered, "Okay, that's not funny." He began walking faster, but the man kept following. Pigu tried to stay live while navigating crowded streets, hoping the presence of a camera would keep things safe. At one point, he even turned around and told the man to stop. The individual smiled, but didn't leave. The tension was thick. Chat messages flew in, urging him to find a security guard or go inside a store. Eventually, Pigu ducked into a small cafe and spoke to an employee behind the counter. The staff, recognizing the discomfort, allowed him to sit in a corner and helped keep the man from entering. After several minutes of silence, the follower left the area. Pigu didn't finish the stream. He quietly thanked his audience and turned off the camera. Later, he updated his followers to say he was safe and grateful for the cafe staff's help. He also reminded his viewers that real-time live streaming means you don't always know who's watching or how close they actually are. This chapter in his streaming journey wasn't loud or chaotic, but it reminded everyone watching how real and unsettling things can get, even during something as simple as a walk through town. 7. IRL street harassment turns violent. Livestream interrupted. 2023. In 2023, a US-based IRL streamer, known for casual urban walks and friendly chats with strangers, was broadcasting live from a downtown area during the afternoon. The stream was meant to showcase street art, cafes, and music culture in a popular arts district. Everything started off upbeat. The weather was good, the vibe was relaxed, and the streamer was chatting with viewers about local restaurants. But then, in the middle of a conversation with chat, things began to feel off. A group of men near a bus stop started shouting at her from across the street. Their words were hard to make out, but their tone was aggressive. She laughed awkwardly, trying to ignore it. "Some people just want attention," she said, brushing it off. But it didn't stop there. The group crossed the street, continuing to shout. One of them tried to joke with her directly while stepping into the frame. At first, she stayed calm, politely asking them to move along. Her voice was steady, but the stream's tone had clearly shifted. Her audience picked up on the tension instantly. Messages poured in. "Don't talk to them. You should walk away," and "This feels wrong." Moments later, one of the men got too close, reaching toward her phone. The camera shook as she pulled away quickly. "Stop, please don't touch me," she said, her tone changing from calm to urgent. A second later, the stream cut out for a few seconds before resuming in a blur of motion. She had turned the camera toward the sidewalk as she moved fast, trying to get distance. A nearby store clerk noticed what was happening and waved her inside. She stepped through the door and caught her breath while explaining what just occurred. The men stayed outside for a minute, gesturing and laughing, but eventually walked off. Viewers were left stunned. What had started as a quiet, casual stroll through an artsy neighborhood had turned into a genuinely unsafe moment. Live on camera. The stream ended shortly after. The clip circulated quickly, with streamers and fans alike calling for better safety measures for creators working in public. It also led to more streamers carrying discreet safety tools and planning backup locations for emergencies. The scary part wasn't just the behavior, it was how fast things went from light-hearted to threatening. In real-world streaming, there's no delay, no safety net. Everything is happening now. And when things go wrong, it's not just content, it's real life, unfolding second by second. 6. Dangerous prank stream. Noose trick gone too far. 2024. In 2024, a streamer based in Eastern Europe, known for outrageous pranks, took things too far during a live broadcast that would quickly spark backlash. His content usually involved comedy stunts, silly dares, and viewer-driven challenges. But on this particular stream, his attempt to shock his audience turned into a serious misjudgment that left many feeling deeply uncomfortable. The stream began like many of his others. He greeted viewers with high energy and teased a crazy setup coming later in the show. About 20 minutes in, he led the camera to a barn-style room filled with props, ropes, ladders, smoke machines, and strange lighting. He told his chat that this was his haunted prank challenge and that they should stay tuned. Then came the moment. He stood on a crate, placed a rope loosely around his shoulders, meant to mimic a noose, and began acting out a dramatic scene. Viewers were instantly alarmed. The chat exploded with questions. "What is this? This isn't funny," and "Stop right now" flooded the screen. But he kept going, clearly thinking the act was just edgy humor. For a few seconds it was hard to tell if he understood how disturbing the scene looked. The problem wasn't just the imagery, it was the context. He wasn't making fun of a ghost story or doing a horror skit. He was mimicking something very serious, in a way that crossed the line. Even though the setup was fake, the tension in chat was real. The mood shifted quickly. Some viewers left the stream altogether. Others reported the video. A friend, who had been helping behind the scenes, finally stepped in and urged him to cut the feed. The stream went offline shortly after with no explanation. Later that day, he posted a message saying it was just a joke and that people were too sensitive. But few accepted the excuse. The moment spread fast across streaming forums, not because it was entertaining, but because it revealed how quickly shock content can backfire. This incident became a case study in bad judgment, how trying too hard to get a reaction can lead to real consequences. The stream was taken down by the platform within hours. Sponsors cut ties, and while no harm came from the act itself, the emotional effect on viewers couldn't be ignored. In the world of live content, not every boundary is clear, but some things shouldn't be played with, especially when real lives, histories, and feelings are involved. 5. Real break-in midstream. Streamer robbed on camera. 2023. In late 2023, a mid-tier gaming and IRL streamer based in Chicago, was doing a casual, just chatting stream from his apartment. With soft music playing in the background and a small group of loyal viewers watching, everything felt normal. He was talking about upcoming games, answering questions from chat, and even sharing funny stories from earlier that week. But halfway through the stream, the energy changed. Fast. Around the 40-minute mark, the streamer paused mid-sentence and glanced toward the hallway. A faint sound, barely audible, had caught his attention. At first, he thought it might be a neighbor or just the building settling. He tried to laugh it off. "Probably nothing," he said, trying to get back to the chat, but the sound returned, this time louder. A door creaked. A thud followed. Chat immediately lit up. "Did you hear that? Check your door. Bro, someone's in your place." The streamer stood up, adjusting his mic as he walked out of frame. The camera stayed on, still live. What followed was tense silence. Then distant arguing, a crashing noise, something fell, maybe furniture. A few viewers said they heard voices, though it was hard to make out. The camera continued to stream an empty chair and desk. Viewers kept watching, unsure if it was a prank or something worse. Nearly 2 minutes passed. Then the camera was knocked over, showing only a sideways view of the carpet. Footsteps. Then nothing. The stream went offline soon after. Later that evening, the streamer posted a message saying he was physically unharmed, but had experienced a real home intrusion. The individual had broken in through a rear entry point while the stream was running. It wasn't someone random. It was someone who had allegedly been watching him for weeks, waiting for the right moment. While police were involved and a report was filed, the emotional impact of the event hit hard. His community rallied around him, offering support and encouraging him to take time off. He did, for nearly a month. This wasn't a scripted bit or a dramatic stunt. It was real, and it happened live. The chat's reaction, the streamer's voice, the sounds from the hallway, it all added up to one of the most unsettling moments captured midstream that year. It reminded everyone watching that being live isn't just about entertaining. It's about exposure, and sometimes people on the other side of the screen aren't just watching, they're planning. 4. Collapsing bridge scare. iShowSpeed IRL Meetup 2024. In 2024, during an IRL meetup in India, the wildly energetic streamer iShowSpeed found himself in a situation no one expected, one that could have ended far worse if things had gone differently. Known for his high-energy antics and massive following, Speed was visiting a riverside area with a local guide, planning to meet fans and show off a lesser-known spot with scenic views. The bridge was old but still in use. Locals and tourists walked across it every day. Speed, being himself, jumped a few times for fun, making exaggerated movements for the camera while joking with fans. At first it seemed harmless, just another wild moment. But a minute later the bridge began making strange sounds, creaks, pops, the kind of noises that make you stop and think twice. Emergency personnel arrived soon after, sealing off the bridge for inspection. The clip quickly made its way across the internet. While some used it as a meme moment, many recognized how serious the situation could have become. Bridges like that aren't built for weight and movement beyond normal walking traffic. iShowSpeed's jumping, while playful, may have pushed the structure to its edge. What stood out most wasn't the noise or the broken plank. It was Trash Stream turned violent, Melstroy's slam incident, 2021. Back in 2021, a streamer named Melstroy made headlines during one of the most controversial live streams in recent memory. Known for chaotic trash streams, featuring parties, challenges, and loud confrontations, Melstroy had already gained a large audience in Eastern Europe. But one night things escalated on stream in a way that shocked even his most loyal followers. The stream was supposed to be a typical party setup: music, lights, and guests gathered in a small room that doubled as a makeshift studio. Melstroy's content often pushed limits, and this time was no different. The energy was high, and the chat was full of people encouraging wilder behavior. As drinks were passed around and dares flew between guests, the atmosphere quickly moved from fun to aggressive. At one point, the camera showed a verbal argument between Melstroy and another person in the room. What started as shouting quickly turned physical. Without warning, Melstroy grabbed one of the guests, someone viewers recognized from earlier in the stream, and slammed them against a table. The sound was jarring. People nearby froze. The chat went from laughing emojis to panicked messages in seconds. What just happened? Stop the stream. That's not okay. The person who was shoved didn't get up right away. Other guests stepped in to break things up, but by then the damage had already been done, not just physically, but in the eyes of the public. The camera was quickly turned away from the scene, but the audio continued, revealing chaos in the background. The stream was cut shortly after. Clips of the moment circulated online within hours. It wasn't long before larger content creators and news outlets picked up the story. Discussions centered around how far is too far when it comes to live content. Many questioned why no one had stepped in sooner, and why a scene like that was even allowed to unfold on camera. The consequences came fast. Platform moderators removed the video, and several of Melstroy's accounts faced restrictions. Sponsorships ended. What was supposed to be just another trash stream ended up damaging his public image permanently. What made the moment so disturbing wasn't just the act. It was how easily it happened in front of thousands, live. There were no effects, no edits, no second chances. It showed that once a stream goes off the rails, it's hard to pull it back. Even in a space known for pushing limits, there are moments that cross a line too sharp to ignore. 2. Rival feud in Las Vegas. Finny the Legend incident, 2024. In 2024, a heated moment between two well-known streamers turned into one of the most unforgettable IRL incidents of the year. Finny the Legend, a flashy and outspoken personality, had been visiting Las Vegas for a collaborative stream weekend. The plan was to meet other creators, film content, and interact with fans live from the Strip. But an unexpected encounter with a known rival changed everything. For weeks leading up to the trip, Finny had been in a back-and-forth online feud with another streamer. Most people assumed it was for clout, just internet drama to draw views. But things turned real when that same rival showed up unannounced at one of Finny's pop-up events near Fremont Street. The moment was caught live as Finny was mid-conversation with chat, talking about food spots in the area. Without warning, the rival stepped into frame, clearly not there to make peace. The tone shifted fast. What started as a tense exchange of words became louder and more hostile. The rival accused Finny of talking too much online and not keeping that same energy in person. Finny responded calmly at first, trying to laugh it off while signaling to a friend off screen. Then a drink was thrown. The camera jolted as people around the stream reacted, some backing away, others filming on their own phones. Finny didn't retaliate physically, but his crew quickly stepped between the two to prevent anything from going further. Meanwhile, the stream was still running. Thousands were watching the confrontation unfold in real time. Security arrived moments later to separate the two. The rival was escorted away, still yelling back at the camera. Finny, visibly upset but collected, stayed on stream a bit longer to explain what had just happened. "I told you all, I'm not here for clout fights," he said, wiping his shirt with a napkin. "This ain't that type of show." The clip of the encounter spread fast. For many, it was a reminder that even digital beef can carry real-world consequences when both sides show up in the same place. While nobody was seriously hurt, the energy of the event and the live audience watching turned a simple meet and greet into a sudden moment of tension and danger. Streaming in public already comes with surprises, but when personal drama spills into the real world, things can go sideways before anyone has a chance to log off. 1. Marathon Eating Challenge ends in tragedy, 2023. In 2023, one of the most sobering moments in live streaming came from a challenge that went too far. The stream was hosted by a content creator in East Asia known for mukbangs, videos where creators eat large quantities of food while talking with their audience. Challenges were part of the format, and over time, things grew more extreme to keep viewers engaged. But this particular stream would change the conversation around live eating content entirely. The broadcast began with excitement. The streamer had announced a 24-dish food marathon where they'd attempt to finish dozens of meals in one sitting, all within a strict time limit. Viewers were hyped. The setup included multiple cameras, timers, and a scoreboard tracking progress. Early on, things went smoothly. The streamer joked with fans, took suggestions from chat, and kept the energy high. As the hours passed, though, the pace didn't slow. Plates stacked up. The food portions remained large and heavy, fried dishes, spicy meals, and dense noodles. Around the halfway point, viewers began noticing the change. The streamer's tone got quieter. Their face showed signs of discomfort, but the chat was still pushing. "Keep going. You're almost there. Don't stop now." Suddenly, midway through eating another plate, the streamer paused and leaned back. The moment seemed subtle at first, like just a rest, but the seconds dragged on. Their face went pale. The chat slowed down, with comments shifting from jokes to concern. "Are you okay? Take a break. Something's wrong." A few friends who had been helping behind the scenes stepped into frame. The stream was cut seconds later. What happened off camera left a lasting impact on the streaming community. The streamer had suffered a severe medical episode shortly after ending the broadcast. Emergency responders were called, but despite their efforts, the situation turned tragic. The streamer passed later that evening, according to close sources. While exact details were never officially released to the public, the event triggered a wide discussion about the risks of extreme eating challenges on camera. Many platforms began re-evaluating their content rules. Viewers, creators, and moderators alike asked tough questions about safety, pressure, and when content crosses the line. This wasn't a horror story made for views. It was real. It reminded the entire live streaming world that no matter how entertaining a challenge may seem, health and safety always come first. Even in a space built around bold moments, some lines should never be pushed, especially not at the cost of someone's well-being. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.